Hi, everyone. I'm Jess, and I'm the content manager at Course Report. Here at Course Report, we help people navigate the world of technical skills boot camps, whether you're figuring out which skills to learn, where to apply, or how to fund your boot camp journey. It's no surprise that understanding AI is really becoming a key component of the software engineering career these days. But how and where can software engineers learn the right AI tools and skills that will advance their career? To answer those questions, we're speaking with Will Kencel, a software engineer at Microsoft, who recently completed the artificial intelligence slash machine learning technical leadership program at Codesmith. And fun fact, Will is also a graduate of Codesmith's software engineering immersive bootcamp. So thanks so much for talking with us today. Will, first, I'd love to know what prompted you to enroll in Codesmith's technical leadership program this year? Like, why was now the right time to learn these skills?
Well, in about 2021, I took the full-time Codesmith course, the immersive, and it had an amazing hiring program. I really liked the job I got out of it. I've stayed connected to the program since then, and I saw the opportunity in AI. I'm also getting a master's in AI, and I just really wanted to strengthen my technical understanding of the industry and how to use these technologies.
I'd also like to know why you ended up choosing Codesmith's technical leadership course focusing on AI versus doing something like upskilling with like an online self-paced AI course.
Um, I like the Coach Smith teaching methodology. It also had a lot of experienced people working for the program, and I wanted to be able to work with other engineers and gain knowledge from other engineers rather than just doing some sort of self-taught thing by myself. I
What
think
were
there's a lot more knowledge you can get through knowledge sharing with other engineers rather than just doing a self-taught journey.
Yeah, excellent point. When you were enrolling at Codesmith, what were your career goals? Were you looking for like a higher salary or just better communication with your team or even like a more senior role after this?
So I'm mainly a full stack developer that's been pivoting more and more into AI. Like I'm taking a master's program before my role in Microsoft. Now I was doing AI with some startups. And with the AI leadership course, it helps me understand the business value with how to integrate those tools and what it would cost to integrate those tools into a business model.
Getting into Codesmith's immersive boot camp is pretty hard. So, how was it to get into this new technical leadership program? Do you have to have previous experience to get in?
It helped being an alumni of Codesmith. Also, I've worked with companies to help engineers in the hiring process. So I've always been in contact with Codesmith since I graduated and have been interested in the courses they offer. Before this, I also did the Node Under the Hood course that they had, which really helped my understanding of Node and how streams and file systems work under the hood of JavaScript and React.
So, what was the time commitment like when you were in this technical leadership course, especially because I think you were working at the same time and doing this degree program?
Yeah, and I'm still doing the masters in addition to this. The time commitment, I would say, wavered between 10 to 15 hours a week. Um, for anyone wanting to take the course, I would say make sure you have the free time to do it. Don't just think that you're only going to attend meetings. You're also going to be needing to do some of that work on your own. Fortunately, they block off a good amount of time. So I would say in addition to the course hours, you'll need probably 5 to 6 hours a week, of time that's not blocked off through the program.
Overall, what did you end up learning in the AI ML technical leadership program?
It gave me a further understanding of not only how the models work, like the foundation of how models work and a lot of these AI technologies, but which technologies are most dominant in the field right now and how to actually use these dominant technologies in the field to build applications. So, Codesmith has a really good program for full stack engineering, and this helps support it by teaching you how to integrate these AI tools into those full stack applications. In addition to what I said about a more foundational understanding of those technologies.
I'd love to know sort of what's the difference between doing this Codesmith technical leadership program versus the courses that you're doing right now for your AI degree.
Um, I would say what's different is the master's is a more low level understanding, where we're doing a lot more like reading research papers and things like that, where the Codesmith program is more industry focused and saying, okay, if you have a business problem and you need an AI tool to solve that business problem, what would you use? How do you integrate that? And there's several projects throughout the course that teach you actually how to build these applications with whether it be embeddings, LLMs, vector databases. Whereas the master's program is more about like model building, um, train, test, validate data sets, and more training of models.
My other question is about the instructors. What were the instructors like for this new Codesmith leadership program?
Um, one of the parts I like about Codesmith is the enthusiasm of the instructors. Also, he had very experienced instructors, like you might have talked to Cyrus, who works with Tesla. Um, I also just like the Codesmith methodology. You could tell the teachers really work hard on their lectures. We're like a camera on kind of organization. I've taken courses before where it's like everyone has their camera off. It's very uninspiring. And I feel Codesmith has a lot of enthusiasm and energy to keep momentum going. So the project that me and my team did, and we had about a week to work on this. Uh, and that's also when you'll be putting in a lot more hours, and that'll be more like 2 to 3 hours a day for the final project. We created a prediction application that can predict world events and things such as that happening. So to get information for this, we took a lot of websites and we scraped the data from websites, whether that be CNN or a sports website or a news source. We crawled that, we put it into a vector database to store all that information as embeddings. And that was our retrieval augmented generation system, or RAG for short. In addition to that scraped web data stored in a vector database, as you can see on the left side of the screen, we also had several third-party APIs, um, such as like Kalshi, Poly Market. Those are markets that you can bet on different world events and sports. So we added information from that, and we took this to a multi-agent system. We had three different LLMs that would evaluate this and talk to each other about it in the expert council on the right. After they had discussed the issue, they would come up with a prediction like, we predict the Eagles will win, the Chiefs will win, something like that. So we have
Yeah.
web scrape data and we have third party API data. We have that going into a RAG system to LLMs where the user or the consumer can actually ask questions about the likeliness of world events, sports or news or political to happen.
Were you working on this one big project the whole time with a team, or is this one of many projects that you worked on during that program?
This was the team project. So there's several projects where they'll give you a repo and you have to integrate embeddings to like an LLM. You have to do prompt engineering so it can write proper SQL queries by itself. There's about once a week of those kind of projects. And then on the last week, it's you're paired up with a team of about 3 to 5 people and you get to decide what application you want to make and you actually make that. So for this, I was heavily involved with the Pinecone database Whereas another person on my team named John was involved with the data sources and the data ingestion. So it kind of divides the work up like that. And that's just the last week of the program.
Hmm. It's so cool that you got to work on a team to build something as complicated as this. Was the rest of your team, did they also have experience in AI before doing this program? Or did you have some people who were totally new to AI who were software engineers kind of coming up in their skill set to join you on this team?
So I would say it's a mix. Um, One common denominator, though, everyone had some sort of technical background, whether that be JavaScript, React, or maybe in Python. But I would say it definitely leans heavily toward front end full stack developers as a base knowledge and taking that from there into AI. And I think that's also because Codesmith, at its core, its main program is to train full stack developers.
What was your biggest challenge in putting together this particular project?
Um, at this point in my career, I've done several of these kinds of projects, so it doesn't have too many like new problems that I might encounter. Often it's just organizing the work, getting a Jira going, being able to divide the work from different people, making sure that all runs on time, even though there's no product manager. Uh, it wasn't too difficult. If I had to say the hardest problem, I just wish I had more than a week to work on it. Because you can just keep building up a system. There's always different features you'd like to add if time allows.
And did Codesmith have basically a demo day like they would in their immersive bootcamp for all of these projects that everyone built during that week?
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's important that Coach Smith does that. I think it builds camaraderie, helps you network with the other students in the program. Because after the program, having connections from that is something that I like to look for, and others also. Um, yeah, I think it really helps the community of Codesmith how they run things like that.
Mm. So, Will, I'd love to know a little bit more about your software engineer role at Microsoft in general without spilling any company secrets. What kinds of projects are you working on there?
I am on the PC gaming team on Xbox, which is still in a growth stage. There's about 1.86 billion PC gamers worldwide, which is a massive number. And the gaming section of Microsoft, the revenue is over $15 billion. So we're putting a lot of efforts into that right now. We actually just released publicly some news last month where we're going to be putting more effort into handhelds and handheld devices. So a lot of our work consists of supporting that. As far as like a tech stack, we are leaning heavily into React Native Windows. I know React Native in the past couple of years has just been building momentum, and the Xbox organization at Microsoft is continuing to support that in terms of the performance benefits. But the main thing on the company roadmap for this year is expanding into PC and handheld devices, especially since we're seeing such a growth in the PC gaming market, whereas the console market has kind of stagnated right now.
So cool. So cutting edge. So far, have you found that you're using what you learned in the Codesmith Technical Leadership Program on the job?
I'm kind of preparing to pivot at some point within the next year, and I've already talked to my manager about it to be in more of an AI portion of this. So the program was part of a longer career path and journey to pivot. Like I graduate from the master's in May too. So this year is going to be a big part of pivoting to AI within either the Xbox industry or another area of Microsoft that's doing a lot of cutting edge research in AI. And I've already talked to my manager about this too, but that's more of my personal company journey.
Yeah. Was Microsoft interested in this Codesmith program that you enrolled in?
Um, Microsoft is interested in what they're building. My manager is interested because it makes me a better employee for different projects. Um, like if we have AI, something involved in it, come within the team, that's going to default to me, but it's because I've prepared for it in advance.
Mm.
It's not like this came to me and I would get it just knowing about AI. It's building yourself so when that opportunity arises, you're in the right place. So I have a good position for that. I have the knowledge for that, and now I'm just waiting for the opportunity.
Yeah, you've been talking about, like you're saying, building yourself up, for that next opportunity. Are you also looking to get any, industry certifications right now to continue helping you on this path?
Um, I feel like I have several certifications. Like I have this, I have the masters, I have a certification from NVIDIA. There's actually NVIDIA's GTC conference next week, which is in San Jose, which is going to show all the AI advancements this year through the lens of NVIDIA. Um, so I feel like the certifications help the career and they help prepare you for when opportunity knocks at your front door. Like it's not going to knock at your front door if you haven't been guiding your career toward that. Like I'm always try to think in like a 3 to 5 year plan. To give you some background on that, like my first job was originally with Microsoft for a year and a half. I left to start working with startups and integrating I started the AI Masters and then the Codesmith AI Leadership course. And while I was at the program, I got rehired with Microsoft. So it's kind of like steering it back into that direction over a period of like 5 to 6 years.
What do you think the benefits are of doing the AI ML technical leadership program after completing Codesmith's software engineering immersive? Just thinking of those Codesmith grads who are starting to look at this program, wondering, why they should do it.
Yeah, yeah. So Codesmith talks a lot about being a T-shaped developer, like having a good broad experience and then having a select depth of experience in one area, whether that be like React, SQL database management. And I feel like incorporating AI, that's such a booming part of the industry right now, helps expand a bit of depth in those broad areas that companies are seeking. Companies like to see that someone can actually use data to gain business value insights from that can benefit the stakeholders. Um, so I feel like it definitely makes people more valuable because they can actually use data for insights now rather than just building an application.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. My last question for you is, what's your advice to these incoming students, these incoming software engineers, on how to make the most of this technical leadership program? Like, is there anything that you wish you knew before day one of this program?
Well, something I've had to learn in the industry, I think networking, as much as I hate that word, is pretty important to help line up next opportunities, gain more knowledge in the industry. Um, for instance, when I went to GTC last year, I wasn't trying to network, but I gravitated toward people I like, which kind of what networking is. And now, like, I'm meeting some of them in Yosemite for some hiking before the actual conference. So, don't forget to like network as you build up your strengths, find events that are going on, whether or not you're in the job search. If you are in the job search, try to do in-person events. I I I work remote, but I was going for a hybrid or in-person role because I think there's a lot of value um with being in person and meeting people in person.
I'm so glad you reminded us that networking, it might seem off-putting, but it doesn't have to be so bad. You can always meet people that have similar hobbies as you, as well as propelling your career forward. So that's,
Yeah,
yeah.
I am a little biased because I work from home, so I am able to like maintain that social battery. But Yeah, meeting people in person is extremely valuable, I think.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's an excellent place to wrap up this Q&A. Thanks so much for sharing your insights on this really exciting new program, Will. And thank you to everyone who is watching this. We're going to be posting a transcript of this video interview on the Course Report blog with contact information for Codesmith, just in case you're inspired to apply for any of their upcoming cohorts. And in the meantime, you can follow Course Report on Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. And if you're a bootcamp alum, don't forget to post a review of your bootcamp experience on Course Report. Your review is a huge help to anyone who's thinking of getting into tech today.